GameStop is dying. It's about to close a bunch of stores. Could this be the end for GameStop as we know it? Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Let's go. But before we get to the video, guys, check all the links down below in the video description for the best tech you could find, hands down. We've got all the best tech of the year, all the best PS5 Pro accessories and PS5 accessories, all the best Steam Deck accessories if that's your thing, and the best coffee ever made by mankind with nootropic mushrooms that just improves your health. And talking of health, if you want to invest in your sleep and your health overall, the best smart ring that tracks your sleep and tracks basically a bunch of body metrics for you, the Ultra Human Ring Air. Use my links down below to save money right now. Click them, click them, click them. Anyways, enjoy the rest. So welcome back to another video, guys. I'm Blaze2K. Please hit the like, please hit the subscribe, click the bell icon if you can, if you love gaming news and love all that good stuff. Let's talk about this. So Game Rant posts, GameStop reportedly planning to close more stores. GameStop is currently undergoing a comprehensive review meant to identify new locations for closure. Company anticipates this process could result in even more closures than those carried out in the past few years. GameStop has closed over 700 stores since 2020. Now, I'm a 90s kid. I remember growing up. I remember the highlight of my weekend is going to the nearby city, going to Game back in the UK, or Game Station, basically the GameStop of the UK. I used to love looking at all the games, looking at all the discounted games, coming home with the original Halo for PC at the time that I could play on my Dell, Centurion, or I can't remember the name of the PC. But I remember picking up like Gran Turismo and stuff with the PS1, PS2, and coming home with like such a good bargain with my pocket money. And being able to try out new consoles like the DS, like the PSP, like, God, just so many good memories of game and obviously GameStop here. Just trying out new consoles, trying out new games, just the excitement of going into the game store and seeing all the games and all the cool little things you can buy for your games, and it's a highlight. I remember playing the original DS in Game, the UK's GameStop, back when I was a kid, and playing WarioWare on it and being completely amazed that it had a touchscreen with a little stylus. So many good memories, but it seems like as of, lately, we've seen games go more and more digital over time. It sucks. I mean, it's convenient, don't get me wrong. It's nice being able to get a game on day one. I mean, at midnight, the midnight of release, instead of having to go to the store and line up outside the store. Although I remember, what was it, Fallout 3 or Fallout 4? I remember I went with my wife. There was one game that came out, and I went to my very first midnight launch and standing in line at GameStop here in the US years ago, and it was a hell of an experience. I loved it, and God, I'm going to miss those days. Let me know if you're going to miss them too. But anyways, GameStop's closing a lot more stores, and in my opinion, they're turning into a kind of glorified Pop Funko store. I go there every year. Literally once a year now, if that. When we go to the mall around Christmas times, I'll probably be going to GameStop this year if they still have one at my mall, and just perusing and sort of feeling sad. I know they've sort of tried to pivot, in the face of this new digital revolution of games. They try to pivot and sell like Pop Funko stuff, pop culture sort of stuff, retro video games. I think that's kind of cool, but obviously they're hard to get your hands on, right? Unless you go to a bunch of thrift stores and garage sales constantly to try and stock up, and you have to really rely on people trading their games into GameStop, and I don't think they could rely on that as a business, and a business that operates hundreds of stores across the US. It's just not feasible, and I think they're kind of pigeonholed in now, and they don't know what to do and what to sell and what to make it worthwhile doing to make money to stay in business, essentially, right? They can't just rely on Nintendo physical games anymore. But yeah, it's sad. So let's read and see what it's got to say. So GameStop will possibly continue closing stores in the near future, the company revealed in a recent regulatory filing, though the specifics of this cost-cutting measure haven't yet been decided on, and these potential closures could surpass those GameStop has already carried out in recent history. Like many other video game retailers, GameStop's brick-and-mortar operations began struggling in the rise of the digital age. In response to declining sales, the company has recently been trying to reimagine itself and diversify into other industries ranging from NFTs to trading card grading, although none of those bets have yet paid off, and the GameStop revenue has been on a steady decline since 2014. The retailer's latest consolidated financial report did reveal an unexpected $17.4 million profit for Q3 24. I mean, that's not bad, but considering like how big an institution GameStop is or was, that's not a lot. Well, the fact that GameStop ended its latest quarter in the green surprised some analysts. This result may not be an indicator of things that things are looking up. On the contrary, the retailer is now looking into even more store closures, and having said as much in December 10 filing, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the company's latest Form 10Q, reveals it has recently kicked off a comprehensive store portfolio optimization review meant to identify new locations to shut down. And while this review is ongoing and a specific set of stores has not been identified for closure, we anticipate that it may result in the closure of a larger number of stores than we have closed in the past few years, the filing adds. GameStop, don't go, don't leave us. And they've kind of been in a little bit of controversy as of late, especially when it comes to PlayStation stuff in particular. If you remember back just not long ago, GameStop Canada at least were basically requiring you to be a member of their GameStop Premium thing, where you had to have like 20,000 points, like thousands of points, and spend like 15 grand a year, 15,000 bucks a year to maintain this membership status, to have a chance at buying a PlayStation 5 Pro bundle. That's up in Canada. And to more recently, they've been trying to sell some PS5 Slim 30th anniversary editions and some controllers for the 30th anniversary editions. And they're basically scalping them almost. And most recently, they've been essentially scalping the PS5 Pro disc drive, requiring you to be a GameStop Pro member and paying that $20 to be able to buy it. Whether that's a good thing to stop scalpers, could be. Some might argue it is. But it's kind of crummy too. They're basically charging you a fee on top of what you'd normally pay for something to be able to have a chance at buying something that's, in demand right now. They're trying to make money in different ways that they can. I don't think a GameStop membership is the way to do it. But yeah, they're struggling. They're struggling. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. So they reported in March that it's closed 287 stores in the US and abroad over the past 12-month period. 287 stores. 287 stores closed already. There's fast food chains that don't have that many stores. The company has closed over 100 US locations in each of the years 2022, 2021, and for the fiscal year 2020, GameStop announced it would close over 400 locations worldwide. Therefore, by stating that its ongoing store portfolio review could lead to even more reductions than those from the past few years, the retailer appears to be signaling the possibility of hundreds of additional closures in the near future. And it's been like a double-end, two-pronged sword thing. Two-pronged sword, whatever. They've been getting attacked in all angles, right? Amazon, online shopping has been growing and growing and growing to the point where I think even me, I prefer to just order stuff online and have it shipped to my house if it was like a special edition or something. And then they're also competing with digital games, right? They're just getting attacked on all fronts, and it's kind of sad. Anyways, let's talk about some of the things that, the repercussions of this. So yeah, they've basically announced that they're going to close a lot more stores. They've had a significant drop in sales from $1.08 billion in 2023 to $860 million in the current year. Obviously telling you that consumer habits are changing. We're getting more digital games, we're ordering stuff online more, and they're shifting focus towards profitability by reducing its physical footprint, which might involve closing hundreds of more stores than previous years. Impact on gamers: the closure of GameStop stores reduces access to physical game copies, so it's kind of just making the problem worse. So if you're a physical games collector, it's going to get even harder for you now to get physical games, and it's obviously going to affect gamers who prefer tangible media in those areas where other retail options are limited, right? The move could disrupt the traditional gaming experience of browsing in store, trading in used games, and the social aspect of discussing games with store staff or other enthusiasts. And a lot of people did enjoy that. A lot of people, especially people that maybe didn't get out very often, did go to like GameStop and have an opportunity to talk to other like-minded gamers, whether it's other customers in the store. It became like a sort of social area, social space for a lot of gamers, right? From what I see, I remember going into GameStops and game stores and seeing like a lot of the customers coming in, laughing and talking with the staff, talking with other customers, start talking about games that they love. It's just some sort of nostalgia around that, right? Obviously, it's been a central part. It's been a central part of gaming culture for decades, especially for those who grew up in an era where physical game purchases were the norm. I'm one of those people. I'm a 90s kid. And its decline signifies the end of an era where physical game purchases were the norm, or signifies the end of an era where video games were more than just digital downloads, right? Something that you could just schedule, preload, and then play at midnight. It was all about collectibles, collecting cultural artifacts, just like people that used to collect DVDs, VHS tapes, and have shelves with books and games and stuff like that. It's coming to an end, and it's sad. And along with that, a lot of nostalgia that we're going to miss out on, like midnight launches, community gatherings around games, just game launches, console launches. I mean, just think back to the 90s or the early 2000s when the PS2 launched, the PS1, the original Xbox, the Wii. Seeing all those people rush to GameStop and going crazy, like waiting in lines round the block to try and get into GameStop to buy their new console at release. There's just something nostalgic and awesome and lovely about that. And there's a bunch of different concerns that people are worried about game preservation, as physical games, physical media sort of falls by the wayside. And a lot of that isn't just because people prefer digital. It's also because physical games now, you very rarely get the full game on the disc, right? Because these games are ballooning to like 200 gigs. Even with physical games for PlayStation and whatnot, you can buy the physical game. But are you going to be able to play the game with just the disc offline? No, because it's like a 200 gig game. You're basically preloading a portion of the game and then having to connect to the internet and download the rest. So at that point, is there any point in having physical games? I don't think it is. There is a point because it's basically useless without the internet and having to download the game anyway. So you're not really owning the game per se. You're just owning a portion of the game that you can't play. You have to download the rest of it. So again, that makes the point that digital games are just the way things are going to have to go. And now, as far as the future of retail gaming in physical game stores diminishes, right? The question does arise about what will replace these spaces. There is a lot of potential for new sorts of gaming community hubs, right? Like cafes, pop-up events that cater to the social aspect of gaming. And we might see a rise in more specialized e-commerce that focuses on collector's items, niche markets, retro, physical stores once served, but through partnerships or new business models, right? So it's not the end per se. There's still a lot of potential out there, but obviously they're going to be a lot more niche and not as widespread as something like GameStop. Anyway, let me know your opinions in the comment section. Do you have a lot of nostalgia around GameStop? Are you sad that they're closing? I know they've had a rough time as far as like trade-in values go, and they've been like that for years, right? That's where they made a lot of their profits, by basically, allowing people to trade in hardware or games for, a low amount and then reselling them for a profit. That was their whole like profit, their whole business model. So now that they've lost that, and now that they've lost brand new physical games and getting a portion of that, now they're basically making a living by selling Pop Funkos and still doing trade-ins with crappy trade-in values. They're just struggling to survive and maintain all those stores, which is sad. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. Again, check the links down below for some cool links to cool tech overall. If you love gaming, love tech, and want to just discuss gaming and tech news, and pop into some of my videos sometime and let me know your thoughts, please subscribe. Please hit the like on this video, or dislike if you disliked it. And let me know what you think in the comments. Peace out. See you in the next one. I'm Blaze2K. Bye.
Let's go.